turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode, the first one of 2023, and the first one at AOA Studios, our brand new home. If you are an artist, a podcaster, or a content creator, make sure you head to aoastudios.org. Check us out. We are now open for booking, and I'm joined by a very special guest. A man that I've wanted on this show for quite a long time. Bro. We finally made it happen.
Made it happen, bro.
It's Chizz Capo, everybody.
Happy to be here, bro.
How you doing, man? Great to see you, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. I mean, you're obviously a hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a number of years, and we've been following you for quite a while, and we've loved a lot of the work you've done. I've seen a couple of your shows. We'll get into that for sure. You're quite the performer. But first, I want to start with the objective, which is our first segment of obviously of the Turntable Teachers. And what I really want to get to know first and have our audience get to know about you is really like your background with music. Like, you know, obviously want to talk about your start. Obviously, you're from Hyde Park originally. That's your obviously the city you grew up in. So talk to me a little bit about like your upbringing and like where music sort of fell into that equation for you.
Okay, so I grew up with like a huge family in Hyde Park. So my older brothers are listening to rap music. My older sisters and cousins are listening to like reggae music and R&B. My mom, she was listening to like Haitian music. So I was really pulling from every single area and stuff like that. But I really didn't start making music until I got to like college and stuff like that. But I was always into music, like always loved watching music videos. I used to like be in the guitar club in middle school, just like little shit that I used to do that showed my interest in music. But like it took to when I got to college where I was just like, all right, let me just see what's up, because I feel like I got all these ideas. I feel like I always had a musical ear and knew what sounded good and stuff like that. So
yeah, man, no doubt. And like I said, you were a Framingham State alum like myself.
Shout out FSU. Man.
Yeah, for sure. For certain things, maybe not others, but yeah, for now, we're on camera. Yeah, shout out FSU.
Shout out FSU.
So yeah, obviously, we didn't really cross paths because you got there in what, 2016? It was
2015.
15. Yeah. So you were, I think, a freshman when I was a senior. I think I was just getting my way out. I was just on my way out, but I remember seeing you around, and yeah. So did you? Did you ever cross paths, obviously, with Charles and Khalil?
Yeah,
and
those are my dogs. I'm actually doing a show with Khalil next month.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, bro.
So to go back to that, so I know you had mentioned that, you know, like college is when you really started getting really serious about the music. Were they instrumental in that at all? Like, did you guys like really kind of get up?
I used to be in the dorm room with Charles, me and Charles, getting drunk off E&J, freestyling every fucking day, man. That's my dog. And Khalil, I got in the studio with Khalil real early when I started doing this rap shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
So Khalil was one of the first people I like started doing music with. So
yeah, well, both great dudes.
Shout out
great dudes. Yeah, shout out Khalil,
bro.
And shout out Charles. Really great dudes. Good hoopers too, especially Charles. Charles can play. We'll get to that a little bit later, as I know you're a hoops guy. So what else about, like, so you had said, you know, early on, like, you had sisters and they were playing rap music as well. Was there like a specific artist or like a moment you remember, like watching a music video or like an artist that your sisters were playing that you were like, all right, I'm in, like, this is really what I want to do, and like I am into this shit?
I remember I was in sixth grade. I had to be in sixth grade, and I think Michael Jackson had just passed. And the world was just going crazy. And, you know, I'm young, so I heard Michael Jackson, but I never really tuned in to see, like, what was so deep about him that made everybody just go crazy. So my older sister, she started, like, telling me, like, yeah, Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, The Temptations, So what I did is I did my own research on the MacBook, you feel me? I started getting into the YouTube dark hole of just The Temptations, Michael Jackson, all those old artists, and I just fell in love with it, like the Jackson 5, all of that, when I was in sixth grade.
It's funny, no, because it's one of those things where, like, there's certain, I feel like, moments in history or in time where, like, you remember exactly where you were when that happened, you know?
Sure.
Like, I remember vividly, I was actually, I was going into high school. So, like I said, since we're 3 or 4 years apart, I was in 8th or 9th grade. and I was literally about to go to a summer league game when my whole Michael Jackson thing like broke out, and I remember like it being very like gloomy that day. Like I even remember the weather. So it's just funny like how those certain moments that like in time when you kind of remember exactly where you were.
After that, I got into like the garage band thing on the laptop. I was trash ass beats, but that just shows you like I was always into the music and like trying to construct it. It just took that time for me to really know what I wanted to do and what I was good at and stuff
100%,
like that. So.
100%. And then like for hip hop, like who were like some like artists maybe early on that you were like once you kind of got into you know like that side of things.
So Wayne is my favorite rapper.
Yeah,
I think he's the greatest rapper alive. I was listening to a lot of Wayne, like his mixtapes, like all of that. Big Dipset, Joel Santana, Jim Jones, The Real Capo. You feel me? That's kind of where I got that play off my name.
I see. Yeah.
I was listening to them a lot. Biggie. I was into a lot of Biggie. Then when I started getting older, I was listening to a lot of Meek Mill.
Yeah. Meek was tight back.
Meek
like,
was hard. G Herbo. Those are all the rappers I was listening to when I was like coming up, like high school, stuff like that. Chief Keef for sure. Like, you know, a lot of different rappers and a lot of different genres. Like I didn't just listen to rap though. I was listening to all types of music. So
Definitely. And then for you, like when you were really starting to formulate your sound, like what were like the instrumental like parts of that happening for you? Like when did you start to like, I know you mentioned a lot of artists. I could hear certain ones for sure. Like I could definitely hear some Dipset in that. I could for sure hear some like a little bit like instrumentally, maybe like Chief Keef and things like
just
that.
Like
but
the melodies and
but
stuff.
The melodies,
like that, right?
yeah. But like for you, like when you were kind of formulating that, like
I feel like at first I was just on some like straight rap shit, like you know, just some straight hardcore, like not hardcore, but like I was just on some rap shit. Like I barely did any.
You just spit.
You're
kind of just bars.
But I always knew that I like, you know, melodies and like R&B music and pop music sometimes too. You feel me? So I'm like, I want to experiment. So at first I was doing a lot of rap shit. Then I started experimenting, like, and it was trash in the beginning too. Like when I was experiencing those new sounds, but as I kept going and going every single year, I just got better and better. The sound started fitting. You know, I started finding my right sound, and it just developed to what it is today. So.
Yeah, because I would say your music's definitely melodic, or at least it has a melodic sort of like tone to it for sure. Like there's certain elements of it that definitely make it feel that way, and have even like that trap soul sort of style. You definitely play into that really well. But I think it's kind of a perfect segue into the main lesson where we talk about what's going on with you now and like obviously some of your music. I want to get into a lot of that, and I want to talk about this new single that you just dropped called "Who Got Me."
I love that song.
Great song, by the way.
That.
Make sure you guys check that out. It's available on all streaming services. You mind if we play a little clip of it for the people?
Let's do it.
All right, amazing. We're gonna take a quick break. Here is the brand new single from Chizz Capo called "Who Got Me."
Who got me?
You guys are so
no matter how I do it, your reaction be OD. I blame it all on you and you gon' blame it back on me. I wanna see my moves so you know that you won't shame me. I try to play it smooth, tryna see who got me, yeah. Me and you together, it don't stop. Cardi on your wrist, you gotta stop. When I'm on a high, I be feeling hard, yeah. Gotta get it right, we gon' spend like all night, yeah.
All right, and that was Chizz Capo's single, "Who Got Me." Make sure you guys go stream that thing on all platforms, wherever you get your music. I want to talk about visuals because I know you're a big guy when it comes to visuals.
Yeah.
And specifically with this song, I loved what you and Tange Don Bruno, aka Don Bruno.
Shout out Tange, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. I mean, obviously he's worked with some very high level artists like Millie's and Jadakiss, just to name a few.
Yeah.
I know you had done a few things with him in the past as well. You had like a remix as well. And the name of it is escaping me now. The song that you did, or the video you did with him years ago. It was like a remix. There was a bunch of different artists. Lano, I think, was on it.
Next up.
Yeah, exactly.
Tange shot that one. He went crazy with that one. That was the first time I ever shot with Tange.
Yeah.
Tange is dope to work with. He's fire. Real quick, straight to the point. He's gonna do a great job every single time. You feel me? Like,
dope. Yeah, I was gonna say too, like working with him, like how has he sort of helped like you from like a visual standpoint? Is he like when you think about your visuals?
He has a great eye. He knows how a video is supposed to look. You know, obviously he's worked with a lot of industry people, so that's just the guy to go to if you want your shit to look like, you know, industry ready. So
definitely
shout out Tange.
Definitely, yeah, because I find like around here especially, like he's someone that's definitely, I feel like, separated himself as a videographer. And like his visuals are obvious, like they really pop. They feel like they really sort of like jump off the screen in a lot of ways.
Sure.
And that's a great visual. We're going to link that in the description as well. So if you like the track, which I don't see why you wouldn't, definitely go check out those visuals. Shot by Tange for sure. So talk to me a little about the song. Like, I know it's been a little bit since you released any music. I know you had an EP with SK, which we'll get to in just a second as well. But this is obviously your first release in 2023. Yeah. So
it's actually the first song I recorded in 2023 as well.
No kidding. Okay, so this was kind of a quick sort of, it came out pretty fast.
So I'm in album mode right now. So I'm like, by the time I recorded Who Got Me, I felt like I had the album already kind of pretty much done. But then I recorded Who Got Me. I'm like, nah, this has to go on. This has to go on. Because I got the beat from Abnormal Junkie. Shout out Abnormal Junkie. He sent the beat. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, yeah, this is a smash. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it yet, so I didn't write. I didn't do none of that. Linked up with Dan D-Phrase.
Shout out D-Phrase.
He loaded the beat and we
big
just
fan,
went crazy.
Big friend of the show right there.
We just went crazy. Like, I was so proud of it after. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a great way to start off 2023. So I dropped this, the first single coming off the project. Because, I feel like if I love it, everybody else is going to love it too. You feel me?
Definitely.
And this is like, so this project, just to speak about it, like.
Absolutely.
So this project is going to be called Range God. So the reason I'm calling it Range God is because I want to showcase and express the different type of range I have in my music, to be honest. And this project's not really for the people. Like, it's obviously for the people, but I really did this project for me. Like, picked all the songs that I really liked and that I really wanted to go on, and songs that made me happy for real, instead of, because a lot of times artists get caught up in like making songs for the fans. Obviously you have to, but like I kind of wanted to do something for myself. And obviously, I think they're going to like it if I like it as well, if they fuck with me. So
sure. No, I actually like that. And I love that approach, too, because I think ultimately you want to be loving the music that you're creating.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
not be too caught up and stressed out about, if they're going to, no, if you like it and you felt something from it, we're going to throw it on there and we're going to just rock with it like that.
Yeah, and I think that organic feeling does transcend, right? And I feel like more so, I think you can feel when an artist is trying to just play off something gimmicky. I don't want to like call anybody out and name any names, but like not anybody. I wasn't even thinking about anybody locally, but just like you certain songs you hear and you're just like, this was maybe just to like get some clicks or some plays or whatever. But there's a difference when like you can really feel that like artistic process
exactly.
And like where that artist maybe was like. In like where they were in a headspace at that time.
It takes the pressure off too, because you're not
you're
not trying to do it for other people and hoping other people would like it,
Right. No, it's a great point. And I think it's funny. I almost feel it too. Like a lot of times, it always works out better that way anyway, where people gravitate towards that stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway, versus the stuff where you're trying to maybe like force it, or you think like, this song will do really well, so I'm just gonna like lean into this and put it out. Versus like a song or even a full project that is organic and like comes from the heart and something that you're passionate about.
So this project is just full of shit that I always wanted to do.
I love
trying
it, man.
out a whole bunch of new shit. And it's just fire. Like, I'm gonna play a couple records for you too. So
let's do it, man.
Fire.
I love it. No, this is great. I mean, I think that is like a great message for any artists and musicians that just like follow like that inspiration. You know what I mean? And that I think that sort of shows you're doing it for the right reasons too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think that's the biggest piece of it is like, why are you doing music? Like really for any purpose of whatever you're doing in your life. Like you always have to ask you like, what am I doing this for? And if you're doing it for yourself, that's I think like the biggest thing in the first step.
For yourself,
100%, man. Well, I'm excited for you. Any little tidbits on the project? Any like features or potential like collaborations or producers that you're excited about with this upcoming project?
Me and Dan actually did a lot of collabing on the. Dan's my engineer, but he actually did a lot of producing on this project too, and.
He's crazy.
He's
crazy, man. Well, he's like I said, he's a great fan of the show, friend of the show. Shout out Dan and aka D-Phrase, and obviously like Mako is a really huge friend of the show as well. Yep. And he, like I said, I mean, he worked on Mako's project, Cool. That went pretty crazy last summer, and but yeah, like talk about range. He's kind of maybe the perfect person to work with on an album like this because of his range.
Right.
Like
he
it just makes sense.
So he knows exactly what I want. We've been working with each other for a while now, so
dope.
He taught me a lot for sure.
Is there? I know every song is like it's like asking like who's your favorite kid or something like that. Is there a song on this project that's like a little bit more near and dear to you? That you feel like is that people should definitely look out for in terms of like in the track list?
I really can't answer that question. It's the whole thing, and as a whole is near and dear to me. You know what I mean? Because it's the first time where I'm just like, fuck it, kind of in a way. Not in like a way where I just want to drop, but like in a way where I'm just like, fuck it, this is me. You like it, you like it, you don't, you know. So.
Fantastic. No, definitely. I think that's like you said. I think that because this is such a project that is rooted in that like not introspection, but like really that inspiration of just like creating music for the sake of enjoying it.
Right.
Maybe that does make sense, that just kind of all like it works as a whole cohesive body.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it. As you said, April, right? April release date?
I'm thinking April right now in my head. It was supposed to be since like the fall, but I like pushed it back so far.
Okay. Take
just
your time.
to make sure, you know.
Take your time. We love it. So hey, we'll definitely make sure you guys check out that project. I'm sure we'll be promoting it and on our playlist and on our platform. So make sure you follow Chizz. Obviously, link in the description for his socials. Of course, we'll get to all that stuff at the end. But for that album, make sure you guys look out for it, especially if you like the single "Who Got Me." I want to transition slightly to the last project you just dropped. I know you did a big press release for that one, but we haven't gotten really a chance to sit down and talk to it. Although I was at your album release party.
Yes.
For No Pass with SK, the great. Shout out SK.
Shout out Skizzle. Oh my God.
We love SK out here, man. He used to engineer all these podcasts for the last year. So I miss you behind the boards, SK. I really do. Genuinely. Good dude. So I want to take a slightly different approach on this question, because I could ask you, what's it been like working with SK, or what was it like, but I know like specifically working with one specific producer on an album, I'm curious, and that's been a thing that's gone on a lot in hip hop, where you talk. I mean, I'm looking at my wall, like there's some artists. I'm looking at Freddie Gibbs, for example, working with Just Madlib on Bandana. Like, what do you think the advantages and disadvantages are of working with just one producer on a specific project?
So SK is not the first producer I've did like a project with. I did a project with Zay. Shout out Zay. We did a project before too, but specifically what it's like working with a producer, like just by one-on-one by itself, is like, it's nothing that's really hard about it, because the reason I'm working with you in the first place is because I think that your shit's fire, to be honest. So, but it does get to a point where you start disagreeing on what you should put on the album. Like me and SK, we were disagreeing a little bit about what we should put on each album and stuff like that. And he thought this was fire. I'm like, I don't really think so. And I'm thinking something's fire. He's like, I don't really think it's gonna fit. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if I feel like it's fire, they're gonna fuck with it. But they're there to let you know like those harsh opinions. And sometimes, when you used to working by yourself, you're not used to hearing all those other opinions. So you just gotta be able to like coexist with those opinions and be fluid and stuff like that. So,
but that's, I think, helpful too, probably with like communication just in general, of like being able to communicate with another human being. Right. That is like, in a lot of ways, like that is a relationship. Like you guys had like a working relationship going for, and you're working towards like a common goal. Right. And that, I feel like those sort of skills could translate. I mean, I'm doing my teacher talk right now, but like, I'm sure you know well about that, but just like, I think like those skills of being able to communicate with somebody and like having those tough conversations is an important like way. And then if you guys are really disagreeing a lot, but also like there's some like kind of tension and turmoil that goes on with that. Exactly.
But it was super easy working with SK. Like everything was fluid, easy. Like he was super supportive. Like, he put just as much work as I did,
Sure.
It's easy to work with somebody like that if they're putting just as much work as you. So
yeah. And I heard another interview you had said like he just kind of walked up to you at Brighton Music Hall and was just like, yo, I got beats for you.
That's the first time I met him. After I performed, he walked up right and like, yo, I got beats. And I'm like, yeah, sure. He really sent those beats. And I think I was headed to the studio when I was listening to one of his beats. I recorded it immediately, sent it back. He sent even more beats after that. So it was like, he's ready to work. I'm ready to work. So yeah. We just made that happen.
Yeah, that energy is like infectious, 100%. When someone's like, yo, I'm really believing this.
We
like,
went
let's
on
do
a press run to LA, like me and SK.
No, I remember him talking to me about that when he was saying that you guys went to LA and stuff. What was that like, going to LA with him and
it was
doing
cool,
that?
bro. It was cool. It's cool to be outside of the studio with D-Phrase and SK and see how they are outside of the studio. But it was cool for sure. We still did our music thing over there, but it was definitely a good time. Definitely do it again.
And D-Phrase has got a good sense of humor too, so I'm sure there was.
Shit.
He's funny. Yeah, sure. There were many jokes cracked, no doubt about it. Yeah. I love that project, man. It's still a project I toss on, every so often, especially that track with Rosewood.
Oh, yeah,
dig
yeah.
that shit heavy, man. Purple's
people fuck with that
that's a
one a lot,
great track. And you guys recorded the music video out there for that as well,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah, we did record it in LA. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll definitely make sure we link that in the description as well. A lot of Chizz. You guys can go down the Chizz Capo rabbit hole right now.
I've been doing this for a little bit now.
Yeah, you definitely have, bro. No doubt. No doubt about it. No, for sure. I'm excited for you and like all the music that obviously you've put out, but also that you got coming. You got. I think you have like you said. I think you have a really good ear for music. And I definitely want to take a quick break from the main lesson. I want to head to the segment I like to call the pop quiz.
Okay.
So in this segment, I'm going to give you some questions that maybe are a little bit outside of music, or maybe like you wouldn't normally get.
I like this. Let's do it.
So all right. So the first one is going to be. I'll keep this one with music specifically. In your opinion, what's the art of the intro track? Because I know you think intro tracks are super important. Why do you think the intro track is so important?
Intro track set the tone. It sets the tone for the entire project. The intro's fire. You already know. All right, I'm looking forward to a lot of other great music, because I'm not just gonna put the intro fire and the rest of it's gonna be trash. You know what I mean? So intro's just like setting the tone, walking through the door, letting them know that you're here. You know.
I love it. What's like the best intro track to like an album or a project that you've ever heard in your mind? It can be any. Well, first one that comes to mind, whether it's a local artist or national or whatever.
So I'm gonna take the Meek Mill intro track off the, because
that was the one I was thinking about too.
That's
but
the best intro track ever. Other than that,
so besides Dreams and Nightmares,
that's another intro track that's fire. Besides his, I can't think of one on the top of my head. Who dropped the fire intro track? I don't know.
I mean,
Meek's the first person.
It is funny that one is the first one that comes to mind.
Right.
Yeah.
That's truthfully where I got it from. Like him just drop every single project he dropped the intro track. Every single mixtape he was dropping intro track. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like every single one. So I'm like, every single time I drop a project, the intro got to be just.
Intro's got to be the one.
Intro got to be the one.
No, it's like that first impression, right?
Set the tone, yeah.
Yeah, especially
first impressions are everything.
Exactly. If no one's ever come on to you and heard your music,
with every project too, it's like I'm getting new people listening to my music. So
sure,
every project they listen to, like, oh, this is my first time hearing this. So you got to come hard every time.
Exactly. I love it. No, great answer. So as most people, or maybe not, maybe actually some people might not know, you were a basketball player for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of public out there. It's been out there. Yeah. You played in high school. You were a college basketball player. I obviously as well. Actually, I don't know if this is obvious either, but I played a lot as well, and been coaching for a number of years. Actually, just finished my final season of coaching.
I just finished my season of coaching too.
Yeah.
I didn't do too great, but
me neither. Not a great season. Where were you coaching this year?
Back. I was coaching at Up Academy. Middle school boys, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Freshman boys at Andover High. 8
Middle
and 8.
school's tough, man.
Yeah.
They don't got the heart like they used to.
No,
like,
they right.
I feel like when I was in 8th grade, I was to a bucket.
Yeah, man.
These kids
like,
are a little soft these days.
Thank you, man. It wasn't.
They don't want to work hard.
No, they don't. And then it's like you're getting frustrated at practice because you're like, yo, I can't want this more than you guys. You know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly what I be telling them. I tell them just like that.
How can I be more motivated to come to practice than you guys?
If you
like,
want to throw it in right now because y'all playing like shit. I tell them straight like that. I don't sugarcoat it for my kids either.
Oh man, one of our last games, we gave up it was just a no show on our part. We gave up like 20 offensive rebounds, and it's just like
you're sick on the sideline too. Like, oh my fucking god.
And the poor parents are like coming up to me afterwards, like, that was bad. Like, we're really sorry.
I'd be really
like,
digging into my kids. I'd be in the huddle, like screaming at them. Like,
yeah,
y'all playing like shit. Like, parents be looking at me after like, this guy's crazy.
Well, you mean
I'd be locked in though.
Yeah, same. No, it's well for us. I feel like it's one of those things. I would maybe speak for you, but I have a guess. I have a funny feeling this as well. It's like, we're thinking about like our time playing has passed, and it's just like we still obviously have that fire to play, but we can't. And we're just like, you guys don't realize. Like, you want to shake the kids and be like, this ends someday. Like,
nah, I still get busy. I still get busy.
Oh no, don't trust me.
Lace up, let me know, man.
Oh no, same. Busy. I still play. No. I think essentially we have very different games. Because I know you're more of a post presence. You're bigger.
Shoot that.
You can shoot the tray ball
for sure.
I got a little dagger on me too. I can pull up from deep. People that play with me, they know. I wanted to quickly ask you though. I wanted to talk about a specific game. You had your career high of 19 points and 8 rebounds against Fitchburg State in 2018 with an L because, honestly, he played at Framingham State. I did very briefly, too. And it's not Chizz or myself's fault on that one. But you were 8 of 9 from shooting from the field. You shot great that game. But I don't know if you recall that game, what felt differently for you, or if you don't remember that game off the top of your head, like if there's a specific moment or memory you had playing.
Fitchburg always talking shit. Every single time I go to Fitchburg, they always talking shit. You feel me? So specifically locked in that day, I had to go crazy for my guy. I had a teammate, Manny Payton.
He was nice.
Yeah, he's nice as shit. He's pro right now, but he was my teammate, and we went back to Fitchburg, his hometown. You feel me? He was just telling me like, "Yo, we gotta beat these niggas." Like, I got you, bro.
Well, you guys only lost by like 7, and Manny was that?
It was cheating.
They were cheating. No, yeah.
Well,
cheating. Manny had a good game too. I think he had like 19. I think I want to say I was looking at the box score the other day. I think sure he had like 22, but that was like a norm for him. He was going off every game. Yeah. Was there another game or like memorable moment you just had as like a player that you feel like that really stands out to you?
I think when we were playing like Bridgewater or MCLA, I just hit like 4 trays in a row. I felt good. You feel me? You know, because it's not easy to score in college basketball.
Oh, God, no.
Like,
especially at D3. Like, people don't understand. Y'all, you guys don't understand. Like, easy. Division III is hard. That's good basketball.
So I was lighting up a little bit. You feel me? But
4 threes, I like it.
Yeah, I stopped my senior year. Just switched coaches, you know, relationship got bad. I was rapping. I'm like, I'd rather focus on the music. I'm not going to the NBA. You know, so.
No, I felt the same way. Like I stopped very shortly after my freshman, like pretty much the start of my freshman year. I only really lasted like the preseason essentially. Before I was just like, this isn't working for me. Like a lot of work, and I was obviously an education major, and as you know, that can be very taxing. So it's just like, and then I got into coaching, and it just kind of all fell into place for me there. But and it was hard though. I mean, it was like a full-time job, and again, the program wasn't very good at that point. I mean, they were recycling. I think the 4 years I was there, they had 3 different coaches.
Yeah, when I got there, it wasn't any better too because we were losing.
Yeah.
We went to first round playoffs, lost every single year to Bridgewater.
Yeah, Bridgewater was very good. I remember that being. Yeah, and then the coach that even recruited me to come down there was gone by the time I stepped on campus. In August, I'm like asking around, like, where's Coach Quigley? And everyone's just like, oh, you didn't hear? Like, he bounced. Like, he's gone.
You don't got a spot.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was like. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to try. But at this point, like, damn, the dude that was kind of riding for me isn't even here anymore. So that's just kind of how it was. It was like a lot of turnover there, unfortunately.
It was definitely a dope-ass experience, though, overall.
But, no, 100%.
I love that shit.
Yeah. No, and I know you were a good player. So, all right. Try to settle this debate for me. And it's a big one. I mean, this is like the classic Sports Center sort of talk here. LeBron or Jordan?
LeBron.
You know what? I agree. And it's not because we didn't watch Jordan. I almost feel as though all right, I think there's 2 different conversations that I think will kind of squash this. You're talking about just as a straight up winner, Jordan. But as a basketball player, it's LeBron. It has to be, right? I mean, the dude can guard all 5 and play almost all 5 positions.
He's done more than Jordan. So...
I agree.
Jordan's done a lot of shit. So if Bron's done more than Jordan, why are we even still talking about
and
this?
The longevity.
Like I get the impact of Jordan, don't get me wrong, but like Bron's the number 1 scoring basketball player in the world.
And I think he's top 5 assists right now too, if I'm not mistaken.
Year 20, still averaging 25 plus probably. Like
it's gross. Like how good he is still. Like you said, the longevity of it.
Right now?
I know. I'm with you, Jordan. All right, I just wanted to make sure because I've definitely. I mean, 10 years ago I would have said Jordan, but now I'm definitely LeBron. All right, I want to transition slightly to obviously you're a teacher as well, which is really cool, man. That you're a teacher and a basketball coach just like me, bro. We have a lot in common.
Teachers, man.
Seriously, like
a lot of kids.
Respect to anybody that's out there teaching, 100%. And you've bounced around as a teacher as well. You've had some different experiences, which is great. I know obviously you're in BPS right now, and you used to teach at Oak Hill Middle School in Newton, and Wicked Cool for Kids program right around the corner. Were you around there too?
Yeah.
You did that for a little bit too.
Yeah,
summer job.
Yeah. That was my shit.
So I love that. Like I worked a lot of summer jobs like that as well. Like I worked in basketball camp in Andover called Hooptown for like a longest time, and so
a lot of those too for sure.
Yeah. No, it's good being around kids and sort of like being able to influence that like next generation. I think it's very important.
Watching, man, the youngins are watching. You feel me? So if I could be there and be a positive role model for the youngins. Anytime I could, I'm definitely gonna do it through the music, through like just in general. There's not a lot of young black teachers in the school systems. You feel me? The school system is where they spend most of their time.
So true. You know? It's
so
like a second home to them. Yeah,
they're soaking up a lot of information over there. So if they see like, they see me inside of the school, they're looking at me a little bit different. You know what I mean?
For sure.
They don't usually have young, black, cool male teachers in their classroom.
No, absolutely. We were talking about off air, like we were saying, like how important I think it is for just male teachers in general, like young male teachers, because there's, I think there's more now than there ever has been. But at the same time, it's like, I think you're absolutely right. I think that's important, especially in inner cities like that, to see young black males like getting into education. I think too, as well, like those kids are seeing like their future almost, like, or what they could end up being, right? Because like, I think that there's maybe a stigma that like young male, regardless of what race you are, like shouldn't be teaching or like can't be teachers. But like
they
maybe
don't think like a lot of this stuff could coexist, like
100%.
Even with like the music and being in education, it gets a little weird at times. So I'm still learning how to navigate around all that and stuff like that. So.
No, and it's difficult. I completely agree with that. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's also important as well for our kids, because I don't know if this was your experience, but like when I was in school, man, like it always felt like my teachers, like I didn't really get to know them super well on a personal level, and I think it's really great. I know I'm the same way. Like I don't really like broadcast that I do this podcast, but we, to my students, but we've talked about this, like kids just kind of, they're resourceful and they find shit. And to be
honest, like I feel like there's like more of like a respect level after they hear my music and stuff like that. Yeah, because they get back, they're like, nah, Mr. V.
Like, Mr. V, yeah.
Everybody respect me, and it's like everybody want to be in my classroom, chat with me and stuff like that. So
no, it's great. Cool. And then they get to see you as a person and as
switch it up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I could still be this, and I could still be able to teach you as well. So
100%. And there's
dope.
No, I agree with that. I think that relationship's super important too, because then they see you as like someone else that's just not just their teacher, right? Exactly. They see like this is a human being who has a life and has like dreams and aspirations himself. Exactly. And if like my teachers have dreams and aspirations, then I should have them too. And I love that.
It's motivating to a lot of kids want to do music now because they hear me doing music, or they feel comfortable to even like perform in front of a crowd because they see me do it, and it's like it's dope feeling.
That's beautiful, bro. I love that. No, it's good for you, man. For like, because when I was doing my research and looking up some things on you, I'm like, oh, he teaches. I actually didn't know that. I didn't suspect that you taught. Yeah. But and again, like I've always seen you as like a gentle giant. I've always, because you're very tall and you're a big dude, but like I've always seen you as being a very gentle and warm person. Every time I've crossed paths with you. Especially in the last few years. I didn't really know you too well when we were at Framingham State, but like as I've gotten to know you a little bit better, like throughout the last few years, just seeing you at different shows and events and things like that, like I've always felt that way about you. And when I looked up, I was like, damn, I was like, good for him. I was like, that's amazing, because like I said, I think it's so important for our kids and of the next generations to have, young role models that they can look up to, that again, like I said, have dreams and aspirations that are maybe outside of what maybe people consider a traditional like job path. You know what I mean? Like that's important for kids to see. Sure. I don't know if this is gonna like sort of these two things coexist at all, but I had an interesting question for you, and I I have an answer for myself in a way as I guess a content creator. But does working with kids, like, is there any sort of like overlap for you in like with the music, like in terms of like it either motivating you or inspiring you in any sort of way, like, or are they kind of just two kind of completely separate entities?
They're two separate entities, but I could say like I work in the inner city, so a lot of their stories is like similar stories to mine or how I grew up, you know what I mean? So I'm able to, like, when I hear their stories and learn how they're growing up and how they, like, what they're coming from, I'm able to relate. It kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, so I like, I channel that energy. So when I'm channeling the energy, that's what you take into the studio with you. So I feel like it does kind of, hone in on a little bit, but not in a sense where I'm like, those two things are like overlapping in a sense.
No, for sure.
I just take those energies and still like focus it into the music and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost feel like for a way when you get in there, like maybe after like a day at in school or whatever, and you let's say you're heading to the studio, like maybe you feel like, all right, like there's a bit more of a purpose for me to do this now than maybe like it gives you a little bit more of a purpose potentially.
Yeah. Like it's a lot of teaching, but like I feel like my main like when I'm in there, it's like to be like a mentor, like a
sure.
Somebody they could speak to about like problems other than what they're going through in school. To be honest, like I do teach, but like I'm really talking to kids and really like getting to know them and like trying to rehabilitate them in a sense, and you know what I mean. So
no, and they need those safe spaces, man.
sure.
That, you know, like I said, because I used to work in the city as well, and like I've seen the duality of a city school and also like a suburb, and you know, I always found. I mean, I had kids when I was working in the city, man. I had kids in my room until 5:30 p.m. They won't leave. They don't want to leave. And it's just like, go home. And they're like, no, I want to hang here with you. And
they're
it's
trying
just
to run up on your car.
yeah. But it's a good feeling, man. It makes you feel like, damn, like I am actually working.
They're excited to see you every single day, you know? So
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like you said too, like, you know, you really are like a second home for them. Like your classroom, if it's a safe space and they want to be there, dog, that's half the battle, man.
Right.
It really is. And then anything else they learn from outside of that. I mean, and they're constantly learning just from that social interaction anyway. But like once you kind of can get them locked in on like a specific topic or a conversation you're having that like I know you teach ELA, so like, and I do as well. Are you starting to, which is amazing. And I feel like with books and literature, there's that art form.
Because, you know, with the music and rap and the, you know, reading, it like, just builds a whole different vocabulary. So it's like that duality right there. It's just like, in a sense like that, I guess that does go into the music. Like, I'm learning every day as well too, like, words and stuff like that, you know. So
no, that is the beautiful thing about
works hand in hand. So.
No, definitely, and that's the beautiful thing about music and art. It's written literature, especially because, like, you know, I think that they both are reflections of, you know, human experience, right? And so, you know, in our classrooms, you know, and I think we were having this conversation about, like, you know, you had said you were a PE teacher for a while, and then you're obviously doing ELA now, and I had that same sort of like, you know, like struggle when I was first getting going. I'm like, PE seems easier, but I think I would get more out of doing ELA, and like while it be, you know, reading essays is not always the best and most fun part of it. Those conversations, man, if you have a good conversation,
because it's really not even about the book. It's more about like life, you know. You're always teaching kids about life. You know? I'm always teaching about life and what's going on, the deeper meaning, you know, just trying to figure out that, just trying to get them to think. A lot of kids these days are not thinking.
I know.
Just
I
trying to get them
know.
to think deep.
It's so unfortunate, man, that like, you feel like these kids like don't think they can think for themselves and like they should, you know. It's like, no, you can have an opinion, you can formulate, you know, you can learn, and there's a lot out there to learn.
A lot of influence on the phones, you know. Start thinking, start getting the wheel moving. You know, asking those questions.
No, and I it's funny too, because I started doing a lot more reading myself just like over the last few years, and it's like I tell these kids all the time, it's like, you know, read something. I know, you know, read something you enjoy. I know typically like in school sometimes you don't always get the opportunity, but I always try to give them choice when there's room for it. Because I think reading, like you said, that does build that vocabulary, but also like you can, you know, read about these different life experiences. Like we were just talking about like Night by Elie Wiesel, and like how important of a book that is, like just to not only, you know, obviously learn about the Holocaust, but to like see it from like someone's legitimate perspective. And there's so many books out there that are important to read, that talk about different human experiences, you know, that are not just, you know, about the Holocaust, which is obviously a tragic human event, no doubt, but like, and hopefully like that inspires kids to read a different book about another topic that might interest them, and something that they can actually learn from and like experience from the actual book. And music's the same way, you know. I mean, you can totally have I think a visceral experience listening to music, just like you can reading a book.
Exactly. So I think that's definitely why they work together. You know what I mean? So
there you go. They do work together a lot more than we thought. I love it, man. So that's it, man, for the pop quiz. You did a great job. Well done. Well done. He said, teacher, Mr. V gets an A. No doubt about it. I wanted to talk about another, we'll go back to the main lesson. One of the last few things I wanted to talk to you about was performing. So for you, I feel like the few performances I've seen of yours, specifically the headlining one you had a couple months ago at the Sonia, or maybe it's almost six months ago. It's almost 6 months ago now. That's crazy. I feel like you put so much thought into the choreography and sort of the musicality of the live, you know, the live performance and things like that. Like, and that was such a cool thing from like a hip hop show. Traditionally, maybe you don't often see that. So like for you, what do you see? Like, do you see the performance side of things as being like a really like
super
important. Yeah, go into that,
side
please.
Of things are important because I feel like that's where you're gonna build like your organic fan base is by performing. You know, if somebody could come see you live, that means more to me than just hearing my song and liking my song. You come see me live and hear me perform it. You know, hear me interact with the crowd. You get a sense of who I am as a person as well, as opposed to just listening to my song and knowing nothing about me. So, performance is super important to me.
What do you think like separates someone just from like that has good music, but then someone that like is a really thrilling and engaging performer? Like, what elements do you think of like that prep work that goes into, you know, because I think a lot of people that aren't musicians don't understand the time and effort it takes to actually prepare for a show. Like, what do you think are the really important aspects of a performer that really separates them from just being like a studio musician?
If they're able to make the crowd feel, you know what I'm saying? It's not easy to make a crowd like move, like, because, you know, it's not like getting a crowd to be able to move and like bounce with you and like, first of all, it's one of the most daunting tasks. Like, to be honest, when I first started doing it, I'm like, damn, this is crazy anxiety you get. But as you keep on doing it, you start getting more comfortable. And once you get in that comfortable zone, that flow state, you're just like, I could do anything right now. Like, I could tell this crowd to do anything and they're going to do it. Like,
they're going to do it, yeah, if they're locked in with you.
But performing is dope. They just get to vibe out with you for real.
I'm kind of thinking now, well, I didn't have this written down, but just off the top of my head, like I'm thinking like, I wonder, does teaching every day and being in front of the students and having to almost like perform in front, does that sort of help a little bit?
Yeah. You know, you got to be in front of you got to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Sure.
You got to be able to think on the fly.
There's a preparation to it. Yep.
There's a preparation to it, you know. Now performing is just like second nature to me. I could get up right now and perform, get up out my sleep and perform. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's like a snap. I zone into like a whole different vibe, whole different person when it's time to perform.
Yeah. Well, it was super cool because for the No Pass album, you really had like a whole all these dancers that had this really great choreographed routine, and then you had like again live guitarist and drummer, and even before off air we were talking about that too. So like when people come see Chizz Capo's show, like this is the experience they're gonna get.
Like you said, I'm just trying to build a experience. To be honest, I want them to come to the show and remember the show forever. Like, remember that Chizz show we went to? And he had the, you know, it's like you're gonna be able to talk about that for years, and even like in the future, like when things get crazy popping for me, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna go back and think like, oh, you remember he did that show? Like he was always like that. He was always a great performer. You know what I'm saying? To see where he's coming from and where he started. So. Like every single show I do, I want to, because I headlined a show before that, I think in 2019.
At the Sonia as well? Was it the same
place,
one? Same
right?
place, yep.
And then I did it again. So I'm like, how could I make this one better than the last one I did? Sure. You know, you always want to make your shows or whatever you do in life, you always want to try to
elevate them in some way.
So that's just the mindset I have when it goes into everything I do. So.
Yeah. And I love what you said too about like, there's a difference between someone just taking 3 minutes to stream your song on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music versus like buying a ticket, like sectioning off that night.
You can tell if someone's for real when you're watching them perform. Like, is he really for real? Does he really live this life? Does he really live what he's talking about in these songs? Is he like, you know, you could really tell.
Yeah. But then even from like an audience perspective of like the time that they take to actually like go out of their home to like come see you perform,
buy
like,
a ticket and
buy
watch
a ticket.
you.
Right.
Am I gonna do that for no reason? That takes a lot of time. It's not
right.
easy.
Right.
Probably gotta buy a ticket. You gotta drive 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
It's a whole process. So you gotta make sure you're giving people a good show. And whenever you perform again, you want those same people to come back to another show.
100%.
Makes it
and tell their
when
friends and their family
show, right?
about it.
Like,
yeah.
nah, I saw this dude. He's fired. We got to go to his show. So that's what I'm trying to do every single time I go into a show to perform.
I love it. I know you have the album. Like, is there any plans for you to like do more performances this year?
I'm actually trying to do another one. So I'm trying to do another headliner show, you know, for this album specifically. So stay tuned for that one.
I love it, man. I'm excited.
Got a lot coming. More visuals, more live music. You know, got more shows coming. Just trying to go crazy this year.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Really like stamp it this year. Like, no, we got to be talking about you.
Yeah,
like,
it's just,
I feel like sometimes in the city, man, they be bringing my name up, but a lot of times they don't. You know, I really need to stamp it so it's like an undeniable thing. Like,
yeah. I think you're well on your way, man. Like I said, I was super impressed with that show in August. Like, appreciate I really, really was. From like I said, just at the start of this segment, like just it was really apparent to me the time and the effort and the thought that went into your whole set. Like it really was apparent to me.
Appreciate
and
that,
it made the experience that much more enjoyable, but also like, okay, man, like, yeah, like you said, like this person really takes their craft seriously. Not only that, but like the product's awesome.
Right.
So like those two things in tandem, it's a powerful force, bro.
Appreciate
it really
that,
is. Keep it
Appreciate
going.
that.
I know you did like a small, like a little tour too as well. Didn't you? Like
Yeah,
an
I
East
did
Coast kind of
last year.
tour?
Yeah, I did a little East Coast tour. Hopefully I could do another tour this summer, but like,
What was that
tour
experience like?
It was amazing, bro. Like it was one of the best like experiences of my life. Like just to be able to like be on a bus, wake up the next day and be performing in a new city, then leave the bus, go back, sleep, wake up next day. You're in a new city and it's your job for like the next 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
Your voice gets raspy at like day 8, you know, you gotta go get tea, and there's so many other stuff that we were doing in between the tour and stuff. So it's like time management and like being able to work with people you've never met before and like on the fly. You know, like even like media stuff. Like we went on a little media run, having to talk to new people that you never met before.
Right. Like this is easy because we've known each other.
Like that. Yeah, for sure. So
no, 100%.
It was dope, man. I feel like everything that I'm doing is like preparing me for something even bigger in life. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking all these like, well, some people call them baby steps or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like I'm taking a lot of these steps to prepare me for like the larger scale of things coming soon. So
I see.
I'm just embracing it, enjoying it now, you know.
Yeah, as you should. No, you gotta, because like you said, you gotta enjoy the ride. It's so important.
Sure. This is the journey, you know.
Yeah, you can't be so fixated on that end goal. But like, I mean, you obviously needs to be somewhere in here, but it can't be like the fixation. No, I completely agree, bro. It's awesome. I'm happy for you, man. Like I definitely, I think the sky is the limit for you. I think you really have a good sound. You have a good attitude about things. And like you said, I think that when you write, but like also just when some people meet you like in person, you really are like a warm, empathetic person. And I do appreciate that from that perspective. Oh, absolutely, man. Like I've always been a big fan of you for quite a while. I want to ask quickly before I get to my final segment. What was like your favorite stop on the tour? And then like from a city wise, like was there like an audience that was really like popping for you and like or surprising? And then my second part of that question is like, is there a city you would love to perform in that you have not gotten a chance to yet?
So when I was on the tour, I think my favorite city to perform in was like Pittsburgh. I feel like that crowd showed me the most love. When I was in Pittsburgh,
that
Pittsburgh
blue collar
was
Pittsburgh.
You know, it was weird. I don't know. Pittsburgh was lit. Them there in Virginia, is it Virginia? Yeah, no, South Carolina. South Carolina was lit as well. So those two. A city I never performed at. I want to perform in Miami.
Miami
I feel
would
like
be
it'd be lit in Miami for sure.
Yeah,
never performed out there.
Your music would I think sound like go well in Miami too.
Out there.
Yeah,
cool.
Agree. I love it, man.
So we gotta get to Miami.
We're getting to Miami, 2023.
2023, we're getting to Miami.
It's happening. You heard it here first. Chizz Capo. Anyone in Miami, make sure you check out Chizz. And if you know anybody that is looking for a performer, he's your guy. Man, it's been a great episode. Thank you so much for being here, bro. Like you really christened the new studio for me.
Hey,
like,
I'm the first performer in this new studio, by the way, too. So make sure I get that on file on record, man. I like being the first at a lot of things.
Well, you're the first in here. That's for damn sure. And I'm
a Chizz Capo vinyl up here too. So
hey,
hopefully
I mean,
I can make it a lot of legends.
There is. I'm willing to swap them out. You know what I mean? I don't have enough. I only got the only really
only
local.
If you feel like it's worthy. Only if you feel like it's worthy, though.
If it's worthy, yeah. I mean, yeah. I hope it'd be worthy for sure. I mean, the only really local one I got is M Dots here. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm open. Anybody that's got vinyls, man, I'm open to swapping them out. You know what I mean? If you got vinyl for your, I know it's an expensive thing, and not a lot of people. If you're especially an independent artist, it's tough to get vinyl. But I mean, you can obviously. Make it work. But no, it's amazing, bro. It's been a great episode. I really appreciate having you. Before you go, got the final segment of my show, which is called the open response. And for the open response, it's very simple. This is the dream song scenario.
Okay.
So you get a song, all right? It's your song, and you can pick 1 to 2 producers, dead or alive, can be anyone, any producers dead or alive, and you get 3 guest artists on that song. So you can really structure it how you want. Like,
this is tough.
It is tough.
Right, okay, I think I do.
So you can do like 3 verses. You can do like you get a verse and like someone does a hook and 2 verses. You structure it how you want, but you get 1 to 2 producers and 3 guest artists on Chizz Capo's song, dream song scenario. Any artists and producers dead or alive, who is on that song?
Okay, so producers, I think I'm gonna go with like Manny Fresh, you know Manny
Fresh?
Manny Fresh is
from back in the day, like back in the early Carter.
I know that
and
might
like,
seem crazy to say.
No,
but listen, if you listen to Manny Fresh and I'm trying to make a hit, I'm going Manny Fresh, right? I'll probably go like Metro Boomin, because Metro's tough. You know,
Metro and Manny Fresh at the same
that'd be
time.
crazy.
That would be wild.
That'd be crazy. And obviously, guest artists, I'm gonna get Drake. Gotta go get Drake.
Gotta get Drake.
Gotta go get Drake. I'll probably get like, I don't know.
You gotta get Wayne. Don't you gotta
Gotta
go
get
Wayne?
If I'm getting Manny Fresh, I gotta get Wayne.
Exactly.
Facts. There we go. Right.
Not to build the song for you, but
for sure. That's a great one. And then I think I'm gonna go. I gotta go Biggie. I'm gonna go Biggie.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go Drake, Wayne, Big. And we got Manny Fresh, Metro Boomin.
I love it.
Boom.
I
That's
love
one
it.
scenario. I could do these scenarios. You know?
No, it's always the first one
I
that
really
comes to
want to
mind.
work with Burna Boy is one of my favorite artists. He's so
Burna
fire,
Boy's tight too,
right? But I just felt like he wouldn't work well with the Manny Fresh or Metro Boomin.
No, you're trying to build a song. You're trying to build a hit song.
Yeah.
So, if you do a second one, then maybe Burna Boy. You know,
Yeah, that definitely
speak
will
these
go
into
up,
existence.
for
That's
sure.
part of it. Part of it's just the fun little exercise, but also like the manifestation part too. It's like, you know
yeah.
what I mean? That's the biggest part. But nah, you heard it here first, man. Chizz Capo featuring Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
Drake, Notorious B.I.G., produced by Manny Fresh and Metro Boomin. I think it would be a hit.
Crazy. Hit.
Chizz, thank you so
Anthem.
much for being here, bro. This was
Appreciate
so
you
much
having me,
fun.
bro.
This is a great episode. All right. Oh, this is amazing. Final thing is just to plug away, let the people know where they can find you.
It's Chizz Capo. Find me everywhere, all streaming platforms. Who Got Me out now? Everywhere. Go run that up for me, man. New music coming soon. Range God coming soon, man. You know, stick with me.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And if you are a fan of Chizz Capo just coming on to us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram, TikTok. Head to our website, www.turntableteachers.com. And of course, like I was saying, we're in a brand new AOA Studios in Beverly,
Fire studio,
Massachusetts.
by the way, man. All Boston artists, every artist, no matter where you from, come through. Feel me? AOA Studios, tough.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Head to our website, aoastudios.org, to book a session today and check out what we got going on here. I think you will be very, very impressed when you see the space and see the photos we have on our site. And then and we're free anytime for tours, so come on down. Chizz Capo, once again,
man.
thank you so much for
Appreciate you
being
having me,
here. This is a phenomenal episode. Go stream Who Got Me. Check out Range God,
man.
coming very soon.
Yes.
I'm Mike. This is Chizz Capo with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn,